one who killed your friend?
No. One of them did. Kong's god on the island. But the devils live below us.
And what are they called?
The Iwis won't speak their name, but I call them skull crawlers.
That's the big one. Fall back. Come. Sit up.
Good day, everyone. This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati. Today is Sunday, July 6th, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank Leslie Chambers for inviting me to the live stream last night. It was amazing. I had a fun time. I could talk about this stuff all day, so it was definitely an honor to be asked and invited. And Leslie, if you ever want me back, I'm more than willing to come on back. So I really enjoyed myself. In this video, I'm going to take a look at my gigantic skull crawler, aka the Ramarak, or the big one, as they say in the movie. It's the giant skull crawler from the final battle against Kong in the movie Kong Skull Island. It's a very majestic sculpt I commissioned from Mark Sing Ying, and it fits well with my gigantic Kong, so it's a very impressive piece. I will bring him forth right now. Alright, everybody, here's the star of this video. This is the big one from the final battle in Kong Skull Island. This is the gigantic skull crawler that emerged at the end of the movie to give Kong a deadly fight. This is also aka known as Ramarak in the film. It's an impressive sculpt, to say the least. I really did love this movie when it came out. I went and seen it 5 times, along with recently released Godzilla King of the Monsters. I've seen it 5 times, so this film was better than Godzilla 14 in my opinion. Overall, I liked it better. Godzilla 14 is a good, excellent movie, but I just liked the whole setting of the Kong movie. It was kind of had the feel of a B movie in a way, but it was still great. I liked everything about it. The design of Kong was great. I liked the story, and I like how they had it set in the 70s, and it had a Vietnam feel and everything, and it was just really cool. Everything about the movie was really well done, in my opinion. Hats off to Legendary and the director, Jordan Vogt Roberts, for his efforts. These creatures are wickedly awesome. I love the design of this creature. From the back of his legs back, it's all snake. It's this very snake-like creature. Very slick and slithery and quick and agile creature, and they are downright frightening just for the fact that they are blatantly and outright, without regard, eating human beings in the film. So that makes them, to me, even more scarier. The fact that when they went into that boneyard in the film and that crawler just annihilated their whole team almost, it was just impressive how one single small skull crawler did that. It wasn't a super big one, so like this guy. So these are definitely a threat on the island, and you can understand why Kong got pissed when they came in there and started waking them up. And did what he did to the military at the beginning. He was just trying to protect his ground. So, and Kong was the protector, and they were humans were waking these things up, and he did not like it. So, but the whole movie, Marlowe talked about, but you don't want to mess with the big one, and you don't want to get the big one awoken. And finally, at the end, you find out why. Well, I think what woke him up, in my opinion, was the napalm bomb that they set off to try to burn Kong. My guess is that's what woke him up, and also when Kong fell to the ground and smashed to the ground, that probably made him arise as well. So, but this is it was an awesome battle, an awesome enemy against Kong. Like I said, I think it's a really dynamic enemy, a cool looking design. I like this design of this creature better than the Mutos in 2014. It was a big battle at the end, and it was a vicious battle too. They were pulling no punches. So, and the way Kong killed this thing was really amazing. I do have another sculpt of this battle. It's actually the death scene when Kong kills this Ramarak. I have a sculpt commissioned already of that actual scene, so, and it's a pretty larger scale sculpt, so it should be pretty cool. As far as this guy goes, he's really detailed. We'll start with his tail. His tail has the signature club. At the end of the Skullcrawler's tail, it was almost like a club, had spikes on it, and they would use it to whip around, and they would hit Kong with it repeatedly. Ramarak smacked him in the face when he was stuck in the ship wreckage, so it's pretty cool. And the way he's got his tail kind of curled in kind of an S here almost. And I'm glad he kind of did his tail that way, because it fits on my shelf easier. So I think he was thinking about that when he designed it like that. But it's really nice, the textures on everything. The club tail is really designed well. The tail is nice and thick as it goes up, of course. As far as his feet are really cool, really designed well. He has this trademark darker gray tone, and then the lighter gray tones for his bony areas, which these things have a lot of exposed bony area to them. So, but his feet are all the darkish gray skin, and the textures are there and everything, and his toenails are just an off-color gray from his skin. He has big, nice, powerful legs, very nicely done powerful legs. And at the top of his elbow, on his leg here, elbow area, the bend of the leg or elbow, there are these nice bony spikes that stick up, and the detail on them is really awesomely done by Mark. That's on both legs. Those spikes protrude up at the elbow bend area. On the forearm / leg on either side, you see these dotted textures on his skin, and that's some of the details that Mark puts into this thing. That is on this giant crawler in the movie at the end. He's got all the dotted texture that's on his skin, and his upper leg here, the muscular tone is there like in the film for the crawler. It's just amazing. And also them dotted textures carry all the way up and onto his up toward his head and his neck. All the dotted texture, it is really cool. I went back to watch the movie to make sure, and I was like, holy crap, all that dotted texture is accurate, very accurate to the movie. So that was cool that Mark caught all them little details. I mean, in his neck here, there's some veins sticking out, and just this texture of his skin. It's really well done. This is a really, really well done sculpt. As far as his back, he's got the lighter gray signifying the bony part of his that sticks through. These things are like bony, and then on his back of his forelegs below his spike. You can really see the boniness and exposure on his back and in that area as well. Top of his head, of course, it's all bony with the skull crawlers. His mouth is wide open position, and inside of his mouth, his tongue is four-forked, just like in the film, and it's kind of sticking out to his left a little bit, and it's a full wide open mouth, very nicely done. His teeth are all individually sculpted, and they are wonderfully done on the upper and lower jaws. Gum works nice in the corners. Gum works nice around the mouth, around the jaws. Reddish pink in there. More red than pink, really. His eyes, they're hard to see because these are like his nostrils, I think, but his eyes are right behind that. And they are there, they're present. And their eyes are hard to see, even in the movie on the crawler. It's hard to see their eyes, but they do have eyes. In the one scene when this Ramarak goes, it's chasing the humans, and the one guy stops and turns around with grenades in his hand, and he's going to try to blow it up. When it stops and looks at him, if you look real close, you see it blink its eye in the film. So their eyes are hard to see, though. But it's all nicely done. Very well done sculpt. From its tail all the way to the tip of its nose. It's a masterpiece of a sculpt. The skin textures are what's so nice. The dotted textures on his upper arm, lower arm, on his legs, and on his upper chest, neck area. All that dotted texture that he put in there that's on the crawler in the movie. It's all really amazingly and well done. And I love this piece, and I did get this at the beginning of this year. I forgot that I got this as a custom this year, and I got the gigantic Godzilla 84 this year. So my custom sculpt of the year is going to be a tough choice this year for sure, because this here is amazing, and so is the gigantic. Those two are really the leaders in my custom sculpt race. But the next one I got coming is a gigantic custom Godzilla 68, which is one of my favorite suits. And that one, if it blows me away, which I'm figuring it's probably going to, because it's my favorite suit, it's just going to be amazing. I will bring forth some size comparisons. And my size comparisons for this, I've already done in a previous video. I showed this with some gigantic X Plus. What I want to do is bring forth some 30 centimeter X Plus figures to show with this. Some hopefully that people have to show the scale of this guy. So we will do some size comparisons with some 30 centimeter X Plus, and then at the end I'll bring forth the gigantic Kong that goes with this guy. So that'll be the one gigantic I do bring forward, and I'm going to do that right now. All right, everybody, I'm back, and my first size comparison are the legendary brethren of the Ramarak character, and that's the 30 centimeter Kong Skull Island and the 30 centimeter Godzilla 14. You can see he's at least tip of his nose is about 6 inches higher than these figures, so he's roughly 18 inches tall, right in that range. So but he's more long and drawn out and wide at his feet than anything else. But he is tall. He has height, of course, but he's really wide at his feet and his legs, and then he's long from his nose to the back curve, and his tail back here is the furthest point. So, but he's a really big old figure, and he does take up some shelf space. So I'm glad that Mark did this with his tail with the curve, so it made it easier to accommodate on a shelf. These look, that just shows good scale for anyone that has these, which I know quite a few collectors in the X Plus group have these figures. So alright, we'll go on to my next size comparison right now. Alright, my next comparison is the 30 centimeter Godzilla 1964 original release next to the Gigantic Ramarak. Just wanted to show better scale because I know a lot of the Gigantic series figures not everybody has because of their cost, so I thought I'd bring up some 30s to show scale for this guy. Just makes sense to show his scale better, and people can appreciate the scale that I had this thing made at. It's pretty cool. Alright, we'll go on to my next size comparison right away. Alright everybody, brought forth my X Plus 30 centimeter Godzilla 1955 from Godzilla Raids Again. And it's pretty cool. Looks like with the whole Ramarak here. Like I said, a lot of these are about 6 inches shorter than the top of his jaw there, so makes sense because he is in a gigantic type scale, so that looks pretty cool together. Alright, we'll go on to my very last size comparison, next to last 30 centimeter size comparison right now. Alright everybody, my final 30 centimeter comparison is the original release Godzilla 92 from Mothra, Godzilla versus Mothra Save the Earth. This is the original release figure, that Godzilla. I still like this Godzilla, and the reason I have an affinity for this one is this was the very first X Plus figure I ever bought. This one right here. This is the one that in May of 2017 I bought, in late May of 2017, and this is July of 2019, and I'm up to 128 now, I think, X Plus so far, so it's a pretty good deal. Nicely done Godzilla here. He's one of the bigger 30 centimeter figures too, so pretty cool. Alright, now I'll bring up the companion to this, the Gigantic Kong 2017. Alright everybody, I'm back. You might not be able to see me, but here's why I decided to have this commission, because I had the giant Kong and I thought I'll get a giant Ramarak to make the perfect set. So interesting, I got Kong like last year, and when I asked Mark for this, of course he didn't have Kong in his possession anymore. It was with me, so he kind of eyeballed or guessed the size for this, and I think it's pretty good though, because in the film his head came up to around his chest. Now was with his mouth closed, I think. So with his head up and his mouth open and roaring, it's close. I told him it was good enough for me. So, but yeah, this is why I had this done, because I already had this, and I've got a couple other, got another smaller set of these two back there, and then I've got a battle set where it's wound around and heated battle with Kong, and actually the one I've got, it's Kong has him by either jaw and he's trying to pry him open. So and like I said, I do have one more commission of these two in a combo, and it's the death of Ramarak. It's the death scene of Ramarak when Kong rips his insides out. So that one should be pretty neat. You want up here? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. My goodness. And then I had Mark make me this too, custom made. It's a lifelike Godzilla, so she's something else. Whew, she don't never stop. So, but yeah, these are really nicely done sculpts in my collection, and I wouldn't trade them for nothing. Really cool, nice design and everything, and I love them. I will come back with some final thoughts on this guy right here momentarily. All right, everybody, I'm back. I got Ramarak and Godzilla still up here, so final thoughts. This was a really awesomely done sculpt that I got from Mark, and I forgot that he was this year. He was very early this year, and when I got him, unfortunately, this leg was clean split from UPS damage shipping, and I had to send it back, and Mark fixed it. Like, you can't even tell it was ever damaged at all, to be honest. I can't. And it was a clean split, like all the way around this upper leg right here, right almost where the body connects. So, but he fixed it and did me the right way. So he always does that. I have bought a bunch of sculpts from him until I finally had a couple get damaged. I had this one, and that gigantic Kong, actually his arm had a split in it as well. So, but he fixed it, and you can't even tell it was ever broke. So he did me the right way, that's for sure. It's just rough handling by UPS, I guess, so can't really help that. So but it's really nicely done figure, and I really am glad I got it. I will do a close-up video here for the closeout, and appreciate everyone watching. You all have a wonderful day. This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room, and you all have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.